President Obama pushed again for a new, cleaner and greener energy plan in his State of the Union address. And our next guest used to be in the no crowd when it came to tougher energy legislation, but he has changed his tune. Mike Morris is CEO of American Electric Power, the biggest coal consumer in the U.S. and a major utility. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us here on In Business.
Happy to be with you. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Well, President Obama, when he gave the State of the Union, talked about what 80% of energy will come from clean sources by 2035. You've got a very long time to change best practices.
Well, I think he also broadened the definition of clean energy, included clean coal, which we at American Electric Power believe very strongly in, as well as new nuclear to be built throughout the country. Those are important expansions of what was a classic definition of wind and sun. Those renewables are important, but they're intermittent, and our use of electricity is 24/7 every day of the year. So we have to have that balance, and to hit that kind of a target, which is a very, very challenging target, is going to include, it'll have to include all of those other pieces, as well as a more robust transmission grid to move energy from points where the energy is found to points where the energy is consumed. So lots of challenges, but lots of fun. This is a great time to be in the electric business.
Well, you know, one of the criticisms of the plan that's been floated thus far is what would happen with regulating coal extraction in this country. And there was a report just last week from the Office of Surface and Mining document that was made public, estimating 9,000 American jobs would be lost if these new regulations are implemented. What sort of job losses or job creation are you expecting?
Well, when you talk, so we're building an ultra supercritical coal plant, which is a clean coal technology from our vantage point. I must admit, not everyone's vantage point. There you've got 1,600 men and women working, and they've been out there for a couple of years, and we've got 2 more years to go to bring the plant online. So there are a lot of jobs there. The coal mining jobs are an interesting issue. What we're seeing today in the coal mining world is a tremendous amount of export from coal, particularly here in the eastern United States. The price of coal today in the market is $70, $80 a ton. With the current natural gas play, coal really ought to be $40 or $50 a ton. This weekend, as you know, there was a major acquisition of Massey Energy, so loss of coal jobs may or may not be that significant, because there will be a tremendous amount of coal being exported to other countries. We had a huge spike with the floods in Australia. That's now behind us, but we're still seeing China as a major buyer of coal, particularly the higher BTU coal in the eastern United States.
So that argument would mean more extraction would be needed here in the U.S. to suit your needs, right?
Could well be, you bet.
So you mentioned...
I don't think coal's going to go away. I think it's important that none of us get it in our minds that coal's going to go away. Cleaner coal is retrofitted, complying with the Clean Air Act. Lower BTU coal, which we've used over a lot of years throughout the industry, but it's still over half of the generating fleet of the United States. India, it's 70+%. China, it's 80+%. Coal's going to be burned worldwide.
Do you see yourself, having to buy from foreign sources in the near term?
No. No, over the years, we've always been a spot buyer of coal, sometimes from Australia, sometimes Indonesia, but the bulk of coal consumed in the United States is mined in the United States, produced in the United States, both the western states and the Powder River Basin, and along the Appalachia region, throughout Indiana, the Illinois Basin. So almost all the coal that's burned here in this country has always been mined in this country.
You mentioned the price of coal, having jumped the way it has. For you and providing electricity to consumers right now, how much of that are you passing along to the household?
Well, the way that we're a regulated utility in our jurisdictions, and the way regulated utilities work is we recover 100% of the cost of our fuel. But because AEP is such a large buyer of fuel, we typically buy on a 5 or 10-year cycle. So we've got a lot of very well-priced coal that's still in our overall mix. In fact, in 2010, our cost of coal to our customers went down when compared to 2009. We won't buy any coal in the 2011 spot market. We've retrofitted most of our generating machines, so we're now buying higher sulfur coal, which is cheaper than the low sulfur Central Appalachia coal. In fact, we've reduced our Central Appalachia coal utilization by about 50% in the last 7 years. Still using a lot of coal, but because we've got sulfur control mechanisms on our power plants, we can burn higher sulfur coal, and our emissions still stay well within the Clean Air Act.